How's everyone doing? Okay, I think I'm just gonna wait like 1 or 2 more minutes maybe, and then I will get going just to be respectful of everyone's time. This isn't gonna be a super long call anyhow, but I'll just wait like another minute or two. Okay, I'm gonna get going here. So tonight, first of all, happy Tuesday night, everyone. Tonight I'm gonna talk specifically about challenge groups, because challenge groups have been something that I have found to be super valuable since I have become a coach. And they were actually, or my challenge group that I did when I first started coaching was like the best one I ever did. And I just got so many takeaways. I got an incredible coach out of it. And so that's going to be something that I'm going to focus in on going into the fall, because I think once summer is over and people are ready to get back into the swing of things, starting them off with like a really bomb challenge group is just an incredible way to help them get started, especially if there's someone who's getting started with you for the very first time. So I know I have one of my brand new coaches on here, and I think a couple other brand new coaches are on here as well. So this might be extra helpful for you, maybe if you haven't run a challenge group of your own yet, because I feel like a challenge group, especially when it's a brand new customer that has just signed up with you, this is a really great way to start your relationship. Our relationships with customers start after they make their first purchase. So a lot of the times I think, and I've fallen into this trap before as well, that I have someone sign up and I'm so excited and I get my Success Club points, and then I'm already like scrambling to find more people to get signed up, or I'm looking ahead to the next month. And I've had this come up before where I not forget about those people, but I maybe don't spend as much time as I could have with them, and then I don't end up retaining them in the long run as a customer. And so I think that I just want to focus on the fact that our relationship with our customers starts when they press purchase and they complete their share cart. It doesn't start when we first connect with them on Instagram. It doesn't start when we send them a share cart. Like, it starts actually when they officially join our team. And I just want to drive that home. And so you've already been giving them value in some way, whether it's through your Instagram or your freemiums or whatever you've been giving them in the past, but now you really want to give them extra value because they've invested in you. Maybe it's only with a $49 or $39 3-month membership, or with some Energize or whatever that may be. There are, whatever the number is, like 300,000 other Beachbody coaches out there, but for whatever reason, your customers have chosen you as their coach. And so I think that it's so important for us all to make sure that we provide as much value as we can, not only leading up to them joining us, but especially once they have joined us. And so once they have joined us and you're getting them into their first challenge group, this is where you can really start providing value to them. And when you get them into a challenge group, the value just continues to add, because if there are even only a few other people in that challenge group, it's going to be so helpful, because what I've seen in my groups, for example, the girls really start to get to know each other. They share like tips and tricks for, maybe their moms, and it's sharing tips and tricks for how they feed their kids healthy lunches. Or I've had I've had a handful of challengers in the past who have certain food allergies or food intolerances. And so they're sharing tips and tricks and recipes with each other for their gluten intolerances, or maybe they have IBS, and so they're sharing different tips and tricks with each other that way, because they relate to each other on that level. So setting up this platform of a challenge group for them to really encourage that engagement amongst your customers, that's just an extra value added for them. And so I just wanted to start with 3 kind of limiting beliefs that I've gone over with some of my coaches in the past about why they believe that they can't run successful challenge groups, or why they lean on the bod squad group. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that. I think those resources are there for a reason. That's why they're in place. That's why we have them. But these are just 3 things that I kind of hope will maybe help even new coaches who are hesitant to try their own challenge group, or maybe they're nervous, or they have one of these limiting beliefs. And so I just want to kind of bust through those a little bit and just breathe some life into why they aren't true. So the first one is that I don't have enough people. But here's the thing. If you have 1 customer, that's all you need. Our job as coaches is to be the best possible accountability partner we can be. Because at the end of the day, our job is to help our customers or our clients or our team, whatever you want to refer to them as. Our job is to get them results and show up for them every day, and show them that we can show up every day, and show them how they can show up for themselves as well. So even if it's just you and 1 other person, maybe it's in a message thread, or maybe it is like in a Facebook group and it's just you guys posting for each other every day, that's fine. That's a really good place to start. And if nothing else, it's just going to be really good practice, so that in the future, maybe you have 10 people sign up for your next challenge group, and you're just going to feel that much more confident when you deliver that group for them, because you already had the practice of the group you had with even 1 challenger. Not only that, but if you only have 1 customer or 1 challenger with you for your first group, they're going to feel really special because you're investing so much time to them. They're going to have like your undivided attention, and it's just going to be so awesome building that relationship with each other one-on-one. So the second one is I'm not creative enough. And I've come across this a few times. I love to be creative. I love to have really fun challenge groups and have themes and come up with the graphics and the images. Like, I love doing that stuff. But I understand that that's not everybody's love language. So that's fine. You don't have to be creative. But what I know about everyone who's on this call is that you're a hard worker. You're smart. Like, you're a hustler. You're a Beachbody coach, right? And so I used to tell the girls that I worked with all the time when I was a manager, when they would ask me questions and I would want them to kind of figure it out on their own, I would just say, you're smart, you'll figure it out. And so that's what I would say to any of my coaches who feel like they're not creative enough. Like, you're smart. Everything is figure outable. Go to your Google search bar. Go to Pinterest. There's so many different fun things that you can find. Like, the internet has figured everything out for us already. So the excuse of not being creative enough just shouldn't really be one. And if that is something for you, then you can go onto the Coach online office. They've done challenge group guides for every program that we have. So even if you just want to go in there and maybe take some, maybe you don't like the stock images, but you want to take some of their wording, or you want to tailor your challenge group to a specific program, you can log in there. You can take, like, I wouldn't say copy paste everything, just tailor it maybe to even your lingo, and then put that in your challenge group. And there you go, done. The next point is I'm too busy. And if this is you and you feel like you're too busy to set up a challenge group, I definitely feel that. Like, I've been in that position before. But what I would say is that you could use this as a really great motivator to, that's maybe why you should create a challenge group. Because not only will this show yourself that you're capable of doing it, but it's also going to show everyone else who's in that group that our programs and nutrition plans are so conducive to a busy schedule, and that will trickle down into their challengers as well. So for example, one of my coaches, Allie, she went to, I forget exactly where, but she traveled to the States last year, and she drove, and she literally packed her weights and her loops and her sliders, and she took them with her. And I think that that's so incredible. And I know that that helped her build her team, because her challengers were seeing, like, holy crap, Allie's down in like Montana or wherever it was, and she literally toted her weights all the way down there just so that she could stay on track. Another great example is when we go to Summit or when we were on the cruise, like we were all working out while we were there. And I think that that's just such a great example to set for everybody who wants to follow us. And then that's also going to help people bust through any limiting beliefs that they have. Maybe they're not even a customer of yours yet, but maybe they're watching your stories and they're seeing that you and your challengers are showing up when you're busy, when life is hard, when you have like however many kids. I know there's so many moms on this team with a lot of kids who work full time, and they are like busy, so freaking busy, but they still figure it out and they get it done anyhow. The other thing, like one of my coaches, Carrie, who's on my team, her husband is working 12-hour shifts. She has a very young child and a baby basically who's under 1. The other coach on my team, she works 12-hour shifts as a nurse, and she'll work an overnight shift and come home and get a workout in. And I know that those are the kind of people that she's going to attract because they can see that if she can do it, they can too. And the other thing that this can lead into as well is if you're showing up when you're busy, this is going to show maybe challengers who are in your group that maybe they can coach as well. So maybe they think that they can't be a coach because they're too busy, but they're seeing you and they're seeing that, oh my God, my coach owns an Aveda salon and she works 12 hours a day and she has a new child at home, but she's building this incredible business and she's showing up in our challenge group every day and providing so much value for all of us. Like if someone like that can do all of these things and be so busy and have such a full schedule and still show up as a coach for her challengers every day, then maybe I can do it too. So you might find some really good coaches that way. Okay, so that kind of leads me into my next point, and it just kind of goes back to being busy and having a full schedule, and it leads me to my next point of why you should continue to push through and be like the best challenger in your group even when you're busy. And if you have a challenge group that's going and you're super busy and there's maybe one day where you don't feel like showing up, think about who's in your challenge group and think about the fact that maybe that discount challenger who's in there, maybe it's her day 15 and she's at home and she's feeling really crappy because she had a long day and she's debating whether or not she should press play, and you don't show up, so she doesn't either. But maybe you do show up, so she shows up as well, and then she continues on her trajectory of getting incredible results. She has an incredible transformation that she might not have otherwise gotten because she maybe fell off on day 15 and it kind of spiraled down from there. But imagine she's your next 15-star coach and she's on your weak leg. And because you decided to show up on day 15 of your challenge group, she showed up and she got that extra pep in her step. Maybe that one workout was the one that really pushed her forward. And from there on, she saw the transformation that she got. She really saw that she could push through on the days where she didn't feel like it. She really did see that she can show up even when she's busy. And so maybe she decided that's when she wanted to become a coach. And now you have a 15-star diamond coach on your weak leg, all because you decided to show up every single day, even when it got really tough. So just think about that. Like think about all the little hidden gems that could be in your challenge group, but you might not find them unless you're showing up every day. Because if you're showing up every day, then hopefully they will too. My next point on that was like, where would you be if your coach gave up when you were 14 days into your first program? Like, I know that I probably wouldn't be in the same place I am now. So it's just like leading by example. And I'll go back to my coach, Allie, who's on my team. She was in the first challenge group that I ever did. It was her 80-day obsession last spring. And that was like the most unreal challenge group that I've ever had. Like the engagement was unreal. I had so much fun with it. It was themed. We did little mini challenges, and it took that entire challenge group for her then to say, okay, I think I can do this. because she did the entire challenge group. She stuck it out. She showed up every single day. And I don't think that I ever would have found her or shown her what was possible if I didn't make it such a fun group and show up every single day. Okay. So the next part of that is that when you have someone sign up with you, you want to, like, obviously if you're going to make your challenge group awesome, then that's wicked. But where this all needs to start again is when they first sign up. So if you have an ongoing challenge group, so that's what I have going right now. So it's not like there's, you know, we started this Monday and then that's the cutoff and that's the group from now on until I start another one next month. It's an ongoing group. So when you get someone who starts, one way to get them like really hyped up and get them into this from the get-go is once they press like checkout and they complete their order, you welcome them into the group. So maybe it's sharing a picture of them, maybe like just telling the group a little bit about this person. Hey, this is Terry. We went to high school together. She's a mom of 2. Just telling them a little bit about that challenger, and then your challengers can start connecting with one another because maybe they have kids that are the same age, or maybe they work in the same field, or they have similarities, and so then they start to connect with each other as well, and then it just brings up the engagement in the group. And so that's like the one thing that I would do first, and then also just getting them hyped up once they do press checkout. So maybe you're going to watch their tracking. Like, I guess it depends how much you want to get into it. So welcome them to the group, and then maybe just right away send them an easy recipe. So maybe you know that they really struggle with sweets. And the other part of this too, and it kind of goes back to what Michelle was talking about on our call last week with the sales ladder, and just asking them so many questions so that you really, really get to know your customers before you even get them signed up. So you've already nailed down what your challengers' pain points are. So once they actually join you, you can start them off right away because you know that maybe, you know, I'll just call her Jessica. Maybe she joins you and you know that she really struggles with salty treats. So as soon as she joins the group, you send her a recipe right away just to let her know that like there are healthy things that will satisfy the salty cravings that you have or whatever it is, just so they know that like our nutrition plans are very comprehensive and they don't have to eat like kale and hard-boiled eggs and like chicken breasts every day for their meal. So getting them excited about something like that right away is super clutch. And this all goes back to like they could have chosen any coach out of the hundreds of thousands. So just keep reaffirming with them why it was a good idea for them to have chosen you. And now that they are with you, continue to add value every single day. And so one thing that I've done is I've actually created a getting started right guide for my challengers. So it's just a few pages long. It basically gets them introduced to our the challenge group right away. It gives them a link to our virtual gym. It gives them a few tips just so that they can like be set up for the best possible success. And one thing that I have kind of accomplished with this Getting Started Right guide is that it helps me to work smarter, not harder as a coach, so that all of my challengers are getting this value from day one. But instead of us having a conversation through email or Instagram or whatever it is, and me telling them, here's the link for the virtual workout, here's the best way to make a shake, here's where you find the nutrition guide. I've put it all into this one PDF document that I've uploaded into my challenge group, and then as soon as they add, or as soon as I add them in, as soon as they join, I can just tag them in it, and then they can go read through it. And I even say in the group, like, reach out to me if you have any questions or once you've gotten to this point, and we can make a plan going forward. And one thing that I will say as well that's really important and that I have in this guide is that I'm setting an expectation right at the beginning of kind of what I expect from them as a client and what they can expect from me as a coach. Because I think sometimes people will join, and if they don't know what the expectation is right away, then it's like, oh, well, I joined 21 Day Fix and I did all the workouts, but I didn't see any results. And it's like, okay, well, did you check into the challenge group? Well, no, not really. Did you do the nutrition plan? Well, no, not really. And so if they don't know like what the expectation is and how they're going to see the best possible success in their journey, it's going to be a little more difficult for them. So if you set the expectation right away, you know, like check into the group every day, post your picture, check in with the virtual workout group if you're finding it a struggle, like just setting these different expectations. And also letting them know that they can expect for this to be a little bit uncomfortable, especially if this is something that's completely brand new for them. Maybe this is somebody who works out maybe once a week, and they don't meal prep at all. They don't follow a nutrition plan. Maybe they're doing like a complete 180 right now and they're really ready to dive in. Just letting them know right from the beginning, like this could be a bit of a struggle. This could be a bit of a challenge, but that's why it's called the challenge group. So just letting them know, you know, like be willing to try some new things. I find that that's really helpful as well. This kind of goes into my next point, which is something that I'm really excited. I'm going to try this out for the first time in a weekly format with doing a bingo card. And this is something that I've done before, but I've never done it in a weekly thread. So typically in my challenge groups, I post once every single day, and then I have my challengers check in there. But what I'm going to try to do to, again, work a little bit smarter, not harder, is post a bingo card at the beginning of every week, and it will be pinned to the top of the group. So it's going to have different things, and this might be different for everyone depending upon what your challengers want and what you want them to get out of this whole experience. So for me, for example, a few things on the bingo card are complete 5 workouts and share them in the thread. Share your favorite book or podcast. Do a random act of kindness and share it with a group. Share one healthy hack that you follow when you're eating out. And just have things that are like very tailored to your group of people. Again, this might be completely different for me than it's going to be for you. If I do a pre-workout dance party with your Energize, that might work for me where it might not work for Michelle. I know that I'm never going to tag Michelle and challenge her to a dance party because that's just not something she does. So if you know your challengers aren't going to be down to do something, then maybe don't do it because then they're never going to complete the bingo card, which leads me to the next point of when they complete the whole card, so they have to do the whole thing, and then they'll go into a draw at the end of every week for like a Starbucks gift card or just something easy like that. Again, know your crowd. If that's something that you think they would dig, go ahead with that. Maybe it's as simple as you send them a little card in the mail with a sample of Energize. Just do whatever works for your people. And the other great thing about this piece with the bingo is really encourage them to share it on social and tag you. I love, like, I know we do it amongst our team when I get tagged in like a lip sync battle or a dance battle, and then I can share that on my stories to show people how much of a community we have, because that draws a lot of people in. So think of this as a marketing tool. Think about what you want people to be seeing in your stories. If you're sharing things where, you know, your challengers did something really cool, they made a really healthy meal, they're having a ton of fun with their workout, they're doing a workout outside with a friend, that's something really powerful that you can share with your followers and show them that, like, we have a lot of fun in our groups, and it's more than just posting a sweaty selfie and a picture of your salad that you had for dinner that night. And doing things like this as well might help you, again, find a really great coach that you have that you didn't even know was in there. So for example, one of the things I have on my bingo card is do a workout with a friend, either in person or virtually, but I would encourage you to do it in person. So maybe some week you have a discount coach, or maybe it's just a challenger, and she's posting in her story a workout she just did. She just finished day 19 of 21 Day Fix outside with her friend, and she's completely transformed into this like bigger, better version of herself, all thanks to this program that we offer. And she tags you in it. like, first of all, you can share that with people because that's a testimonial right there, not only to our programs, but to the fact that doing this in an accountability group is so powerful. But also, that helps you find a next coach. Maybe you see someone posting something like that. That's probably someone you're going to want to reach out to and say, hey, have you ever thought about doing this? Like, you're basically doing what I do as a coach. You're just not enjoying the benefits of it. So that's a really big one as well. And this is also another place where you can really think about what you can add value to in your challengers' lives, because at some point, for pretty much everyone, the nutrition and the fitness is going to be a challenge. It's going to be hard. I know, like, this was me 2 days ago. I really didn't feel like doing my workout, but I pushed through and I made it happen because I knew that I could, like, have a little dance party, tag my team in it, and it was just so much fun. And so you have to think about what's going to help your challengers when the fitness part and the nutrition part get hard, because inevitably that's going to happen at some point. And so you have to think about how that sets you apart from them just going to Planet Fitness or Good Life. Like, they could go to the gym if they wanted to, especially if they're not worried about, like, the money, because obviously ours is a way more cost-effective way to do things. But once the fitness and nutrition gets tough, like, what value are you adding into their lives that's going to set you apart from going to the gym? Like, I was saying this to Nick last night. If I went to Planet Fitness and signed up tomorrow and I never walked in the doors of that place ever again, they're not going to call me and say, hey, Meg, how are you doing? How are your goals going? You know, like, have you lost the 5 pounds? Have you stuck to your nutrition plan? No, that's just not a thing. So the value that we can offer people is so incredible, but we have to follow through on doing that for them. And you just need to show that, because it's just so valuable and it can just really help retain people as well. So if you see people fall off in your group and then you never follow up with them again, then maybe they're not going to come back. But if they're having so much fun in your challenge group and they're looking forward to going into that thread every day because they're going to see something super fun that someone did, or maybe they're having a really tough day and they can go into that thread and know that someone has posted a random act of kindness, maybe that's going to just brighten their day. Or maybe they're going to go in there and see a new book or a new podcast that they can listen to that's maybe going to cheer them up a little bit or just kind of turn their day around. So that's something really good as well with the bingo. Sorry. Okay, so the next part in my guide after the bingo is also sharing. I have this little clip that I took right from Beachbody's guide, and it has to do with the nutrition, because I've had challengers who have come into my groups before, and I talked to them like a few days in, and I asked them about their nutrition, and they didn't even know the nutrition tab existed in Beachbody On Demand, even though it's right there. It's like, it's not hidden, but it kind of is. And so what I've done is I've just taken the first page where it does like your calculation and tells them what plan to go into. And then I've given like an example with the containers on the next page. And then I've given a food list as well. And one thing, and I think this has been super valuable and super helpful for a lot of my challengers who struggle with nutrition, is that I'll encourage them to, especially if the nutrition piece is something that's brand new for them, I'll encourage them to print out the food list and then get 2 highlighters. And with the first highlighter, highlight everything that they currently eat, like everything that's currently a part of their nutrition plan or their daily, weekly grocery list, stuff they eat on the reg. And then with the other color, go in and highlight other foods that isn't a part of their regular routine already, but that they're willing to try. And so this kind of shows them where they're at and where they are willing to go. And maybe there's not really going to be a whole lot of extra stuff that they need to try. Like, maybe they're already eating a lot of the right stuff. It's just that they need to really hone in on getting their container count right. So maybe it's showing them that the bridge or the gap isn't actually that big and they don't have that much to bridge, but just showing them what the other options are And then already, like, they've got their grocery list for the week. So they have the things they already eat, the things they're willing to try, and then they can just take that printed list to the grocery store with them. And that's just a really simple way to get them set up. And then after that, in the guide, I have, and I think that this kind of helps to go back to retention as well. And I'm not saying that this is perfect, because this is still something I struggle with, is having customers continue on with their Shakeology month after month. But if you put in the, like I put in the guide, how to make the perfect shake. So I know that I've had women in the past, and like I know, Michelle, you did not like Shakeology at first, because if you mix it the wrong way, like it doesn't taste good. So if you put in something that's super easy, super simple way to mix it and blend it, a couple nice little things to add, they appreciate it so much, because then right off the bat, they know what to do with this bag of powder that they just spent like $100 and whatever on. So that's the next one. And then just on the last page of the guide, I have what they can do when the days are hard. Because again, like I said, there's inevitably going to be days that are a lot more difficult. And so just having them really go back into thinking about why they started in the first place, and then reminding them that like it might not be easy, but that's normal. It doesn't mean that you should quit. It just means that it's normal. You're going through what probably everyone else in the group is. Maybe not at the same time, but it's going to happen. So just be cool with it. It's nothing new. So that's everything I have in the guide. And those are like the main tips that I would say that I have for this whole thing. But just like at the base of this all, I think, is making it as simple as it can be for people to get started with you, and really implementing that as soon as they join you and join a challenge group. And I think I lose track of this a lot of times, because I've been doing this for so many years. I think it was 2014 that I started with 21 Day Fix, maybe 2015, but either way, like that's a really long time. And so I kind of forget what it's like coming into a challenge group or coming into like our community with fresh eyes, because it's been so long. So I heard one of the coaches say this at Summit when she talked about her groups, is like, talk about it like you're talking to your grandma. Like, don't say, especially if it's like a challenge, like a discount coach, like don't say, oh yeah, go into your back office and do this. And like all these terms might be complete mumbo jumbo to a lot of the people you're talking to. So just make it dead simple, make it so easy for them so that they don't get confused and say like, oh, screw it. Like, I don't know where to find this. I don't know what she's talking about. I'm just not going to do it. Or just like, maybe they'll just, the nutrition part, for example, if they can't find it right away, they might be like, screw it, I'm just going to do the workouts. I'll figure out the nutrition on my own. I don't know what calculation she's talking about. I don't know what the container count she's talking about, anything like that. So just making it dead simple so that it's as easy as possible for them to get started. And then also just thinking about what you would want. So if you were a brand new person coming into this right now, so like I just said, I've been doing these programs for so long. So kind of like going back and thinking like, what would help you right now? Like think about when you first started, what would help you? Or if you're newer, you know, like think about what helped you when you first got started with all of this. So that's pretty much all I had to say. I don't know if you guys have any questions or anything, but basically making it as simple as you can, really adding value as often as possible, and just making it as easy as possible for them. Because not only is it going to help them stay on board if you're making it simple and like using kind of some of these tools that I mentioned, I just hope that it will lead to like retention. And then, oh, sorry, one other thing. This can also double as a tool for you to both position yourself as a leader within the group. So if you're the one, so maybe you're a new coach and you're kind of nervous about starting a group, and maybe you have like one discount coach or just a couple challengers. Once you do it, instead of leaning on the bod squad, which again, like I said, it's there for a purpose. It's an incredible resource and I would encourage you to use it when you need to. But if you start your own group, then you're being seen as the leader. So not only to any discount coaches that you have, but to any challengers as well. So if they're seeing your name constantly coming up, they're seeing you're the one who's adding all this value in the group, you're positioning yourself as a leader. And that's a really great place to be in if some of these challengers are potentially going to be coaches for you in the future. As well, this is like a great training tool. So maybe you do have a discount coach who's on your team, and this is like someone I'm in this position right now. I have a discount coach on my team who really wants to get into coaching, but she's not quite sure how to fit it in. And today she told me that she really wants to start a challenge group in the future, but she just has no idea how to do it. So I said, why don't you join me in this next group? It starts next Tuesday. Just kind of like observe, ask questions as we go along. And then once we start Morning Meltdown 100 together in October, you can kind of take the reins on certain things. Or if you feel comfortable, you can branch off and start your own group as well, because we worked together for this month. And I've kind of shown you how I do it, even though you don't have to do it the way I do it, but just kind of getting the basics down. So again, positioning yourself as a leader, and then also doubling as training, and really showing potential challengers or your coaches who are training through the group, giving them tangible things that they can duplicate, because that's just another way to work smarter, not harder, and just make life easier for them going forward. And the more they can duplicate, the less intimidated they're going to feel, and the less they're going to feel like, oh my God, coaching is way too much time. Like, I already have way too much on my plate. I don't have time for that. But if you could show them how simple and easy it can be, and how much they can like duplicate going forward, that's kind of what I wanted to do with this Getting Started Right guide. I can now use this for every challenge group I have going forward, and I know that it's just going to save me so much time in the future. Okay. So now that's really all I had to say, I think. I'll just look in this chat in case there was any questions or everything. Any questions or anything, but I need that guide. Yeah, I'll share it with you if you want. I will share it in the team page, and I'll share the bingo card as well, because they're super fun. My guide will have my my group's name on it, but you can probably copy paste, like it's a PDF, but I think you could probably just copy paste it from there. But again, I would encourage you to tailor it to your group. I know for sure, like the first group I ever did was Friends themed, for example. 80 days of the show Friends. But that's what I like. That's what my challengers liked. That's why they loved it so much, because it was tailored to like my people. Those were my people. They loved it, and it was so much fun. And another point on that as well is like, do things that you find fun, because if you're not having fun, then everyone else in the group is going to be able to sense that. And I think that that's why some of the groups I've run in the past have just gone so well, because I actually have so much fun creating the posts, creating the graphics, and I just like make myself laugh with the gifts that I have in there, and like just having fun with it, because that's the whole point anyways, right? And I feel like I saw, oh, Michelle, are you gonna have a dance party tomorrow? Is that what you mean by you're gonna surprise us all tomorrow? Okay, I think that was it. I don't know if anyone has questions or anything, but
that was really good, Meg. That's awesome. And I think sometimes we forget to go like back to the basics and remember like why we're here, what we started with, why we wanted to do it. When I joined as a coach, I had never been in a challenge group, and I didn't ask to go into Amy's. I just started. What I told one of my new coaches today is, remember that your customers, your new clients, they don't have any expectations. They don't know what this is supposed to be. So really all they want from you is support. So start a group and go from there. Like, it's so simple. I think we make it so big in our heads. And just like Meg said, like, just have fun with it. do what you can, because at the end of the day, all your people want is support. The tools are all there. Like I've said on countless calls the last little bit, my challenge groups, like I'm not sharing epic meal plans or anything like that, because that's not my thing. I share mindset and I'm just in there like doing my thing. That's really all you have to do. You just have to be there for them as a supportive place. So don't overthink it. My first challenge group was my mom and my cousin and myself. That's it. And then it just started to grow. So don't tell yourself a story that you don't have any people, because if you have one person, which could be like your mother, you have a person to support. She's a customer. Like she deserves your support. She's not just like a rando person that paid money. So practice on those people. And like anything, you just get better and you start like finding your own groove. Beachbody gives us tons of stuff, but quickly you realize, oh, this is kind of like, maybe I'll use this and that from their stuff. And then you want to do your own thing and have fun with it. So all of those tips, Meg, were so good. I would love to see your guide and your bingo card. Like that kind of stuff is so helpful just to give people ideas. So thank you. Thanks for bringing us back to basics, because we forget to do that sometimes. That was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you guys for hanging out with me.
What? Sorry?
But thank you guys for hanging out with me on this Tuesday evening.
I have one quick question, if you don't mind me asking. I got kicked off a few times, so maybe you already answered it. But if you have, like, I've got multiple challengers that they wanted the accountability, they wanted the support, but then they just don't show their face in the challenge group at all. So how do you approach them without coming across aggressive? And how do you stay on top of it without coming across too aggressive? Like, I don't know how to confront them on it, if I'm making sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. So one thing I'll say is, like, when I first signed up, I think I did a few challenge groups with Michelle, and sometimes I would be like the best challenger ever. I would post every single day. I would be so engaged. And then other times I would just be in the group because I needed like the daily notification to go off and see it, because that was my prompt for me to go work out. And maybe I didn't post anything at all. So I was still getting the accountability. I just wasn't engaging. And so you could just send a really kind message to them, a private message, and just say like, hey, how have things been going? I noticed you haven't been showing up in the group. I just wanted to make sure that everything's going well. Or like maybe even start a conversation with them that doesn't have anything to do with the group at first. Maybe that's like just a nice segue. Or if they shared some goals with you that they had, then you could just go back to them and say like, hey, how's it going? I thought of you the other day when maybe they said they wanted to start eating better. You could just say, hey, how's it going? I thought of you the other day when I made this really amazing meal. I know that you shared this goal with me, and so I just thought of you and thought I'd share the recipe, or something like that. And maybe that will open up a conversation with them, and they'll share with you like, oh yeah, I've really been struggling. You know, my daughter was sick last week and then I went back to work, or like, you just never know what's going on. And I've had people like just pour their hearts out to me and say, you know, like, I just really can't do this right now for whatever reason. And I've had some who just ghost me. It just depends. Or like sometimes people do just get busy. So I think just like not calling them out, but like just approaching them privately in like a very kind way. Or I've had things as well where like if the group is getting a little bit quiet, I'll post like a mini challenge and offer like a $5 Starbucks gift card. And then all of a sudden they're right back into it again. And then like maybe build on that momentum. And if you know that like they're still in there, maybe they don't respond to things unless there's like more of a incentive or a reward, then you know you're still doing your job right and they just got a little bit off track and maybe they're just really busy. Does that help? Okay.
You can't mess this up. You can't take it on. You can't let people not engaging in your group stop you from doing what you need to do. I still have groups that are quiet. Oh my gosh, I have had groups that have been so much fun. Everybody's talking. I can't even keep up. And then the very next group, I am like the only one in there. But it doesn't stop me. So when I started running challenge groups up until like pretty much maybe 8 months ago or so, every Sunday I checked in with every challenger, no matter what. So the new challengers in the group. If it was someone that had stopped replying, they weren't like engaging, I made it a joke, like, me again. There's no pressure to answer me. I get that life gets in the way. I get that sometimes we are afraid to make this happen. I just want you to know I am going to fulfill my commitment to you. And you chose a 60-day program. So you're going to hear from me once a week, and know that I'm always here after that. If in 700 days from now, you want to pick up and start again, I will always be here for you. I'm going to fulfill these 60 days. You don't ever have to reply to me. Don't ever think that I'm expecting anything from you. And then as soon as that 60 days is gone, it's done. But they always come back to me. They always come back. They like a picture. We start talking again. You know, we don't even talk about what happened. But you can't let that stop you. Most likely, you guys, your first challenge groups are going to suck. Like, probably. You're going to have like 2 people. It's going to be your mom and your cousin, and you're going to be like, this is horrible. And you know what? That's how we all start. You can't. How did your kids start walking? They were not perfect. They didn't know how to do it. And we didn't just tell them to go like, oh, you might as well not try that again. That's terrible. Like, you're going to suck at that. No, we just keep going, keep trying new things. Think of ideas like Meg said. Maybe you realize, okay, my people really like dance parties. Let's do dance parties every morning. Like, that's going to rev them up. But don't let it get you down, because it still happens to all of us. We still get, it's all about personalities, right? Like, I can have a new coach thread that, oh my gosh, they become, like right now I have a new coach thread and I feel like these 10 women are going to be best friends their whole coaching journey. The last coach thread I had, I don't think one of them is still a coach. Like, it just didn't work. Their personalities didn't mesh. I didn't do anything different. I sure don't take it personally. It's like, you fulfill your commitment and you can't make anyone do what they don't want to do. You know, so don't take it personally. Just keep going. But it's important that we remember as coaches that we do fulfill our commitments. And I believe as a coach, checking in once a week is important. You know, and I just roll it off in a voice message, you know, every Sunday morning. Hey, me checking in. How you doing? And, you know, now I have another system to do that, but that's what I did forever. I did my workout and then I sat on the floor with my phone and voice messaged. I went through the challenge group and just voice messaged everybody, just checking in. It was like, took 5 minutes to do 10 people every Sunday, and they really appreciate it. So fulfill that commitment and then just be done with it. You can't control what anyone does. You'll never be able to control people's results. That's for sure. Does that make sense? Cool. Anyone else have questions about challenge groups? We haven't talked about challenge groups in a long time, so this is so good, Meg, to bring it up because it's actually the most important thing. We can get off on little tangents here. All right, well, thank you so much, Meg. That was like tons of info and really super valuable. So I appreciate you for sharing tonight, and thanks you guys for coming, and I will get the recording up probably tomorrow so you guys can tag your people. Good night. Thanks,
Okay.
Meg.
Bye, guys.